And once that belief and once that standard is set, and once they know how to finish and break through, everything that we want to accomplish is on the other side.
Howdy, it's David Nuno. We call this TexAgs Rewind. It is presented by Specs. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio in a Tuesday show that I don't know how to describe it. Nick, how would you describe the mood? It's like Monday we're reacting. Tuesday we're kind of just like, we're kind of done with the whole South Carolina thing, but we got nothing to look forward to yet because we got a bye week, right?
Yeah. I mean, we spent some time talking Aggie hoops, but
gosh, that's right.
Not the best past weekend. 0-5 collectively throughout all the sports, so not very fun.
You know what I don't appreciate? Turn on your camera. Okay, turn it on. A moment ago, right behind you, you had a smiling Luke Evangelist, a smiling Kay Nagley. Who is that? I can't see on the right. My eyes aren't
That's
failing.
Juan.
Okay. A smiling Juan. Like, there's no smiling in rewinds when we lose. Sorry. What happened on the show today, Nick?
We had OB. We had you said one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you two. OB and Justin Lanham were on the show today.
Justin Lanham, our basketball insider. Okay, fine, Coop. Tell the people what else was good on the show.
Well, I say this every single time. I'm going to say it every single time. Jordan Pugh, by far the best guest we ever have.
Ever?
Ever.
Okay. Better than that one time we had, I don't know, Brad Pitt?
Probably.
We also had Jamie McCoy, who I thought was a bundle of joy. We had DeMontre Moore. We had your text messages. Not many because you guys are upset today. It's TexAgs Rewind. Check it. Look, on Saturday, I thought Le'Veon was done for the year, right? Mm-hmm. Then I had held out hope. Maybe not, maybe. And then yesterday we find out he's done for the year.
Yeah, that's so disappointing on so many levels. First of all, hey, the guy's having an all-SEC caliber year. He's one of the best running backs in the SEC. Frankly, I would put him behind only the kid Dylan Sampson from Tennessee. He gets hurt making a big play, a 20-yard pass catch. And he runs so hard and he has power. And quite frankly, A&M had on short yardage situations. I'm not saying that Amari Daniels can't pick it up, but it's going to be a little more difficult.
Yeah,
because he runs with power.
Yeah,
I'm talking about Le'Veon.
And I think they both complement each other so well. Yes, they both do a little bit of what the other does, right? But to me, I look at Amari as a powerful, shifty back. I look at Le'Veon as I'm just going to hit you in the mouth.
Yeah, he brings a level of toughness, and I know he has NFL aspirations, and his plan was probably to go into the draft. I think he has two young boys.
Yep.
So he wants to be a responsible father and take care of them, provide for them. And I just wonder if he'll feel like he can go into the draft off an injury, because are you going to get selected?
Well, it's also, and I don't think we are, but let's not minimize how big of a deal this is. This is their most consistent, best offensive player this year.
Oh, without a doubt. Like I said,
most
he's an
consistent
all-SEC
best
type of guy.
Yeah.
Might still be. So your running game will miss him. Now, Amari Daniels came in, and he had that long 56-yard touchdown. Remember, he led them in rushing last year.
Yep.
He's a very capable, good back. But what you did have is you had when Le'Veon needed a break, you had Amari Daniels come in.
Did basketball season start, or we got to wait till SEC play? Because that was not the start I expected.
That's not the start I expected either. I think the start of the game looked good, but to finish it off, we couldn't finish it out, and that was kind of disappointing to see. You have a double-digit lead with about 5 minutes left in the game, and I feel like you just got to close those games out.
I know you're a basketball coach by trade, so you probably see things that we don't. So, was there anything that you saw that was a primary contributing factor to that inability to put the game away?
Yeah, I think we fouled too much late in the game, and the clock stopped, and they were able to shoot free throws. And that's a big no-no with a double-digit lead like that. You want that clock to keep ticking, and unfortunately, that clock stopped a lot as they got to shoot free throws. And I think they made 20 plus free throws. And so I think that was a big contributor. Obviously, we didn't score much late in the game, but I think the number one thing was just fouling too much. And I think we're very capable of defending without fouling. And so that was the thing that was frustrating. It was just ticky-tack fouls. It was not even a lot of fouls as they're going to the basket. It's away from the basket fouls. And when they're in the one-on-one and double bonus, I mean, you can't do that late in the game.
Justin, why do you think these teams get better as the season goes on? And look, I think a lot of teams get better with practice, right? That's not just a Buzz Williams A&M basketball team, comment. But his teams traditionally find their groove later on. Why do you think, and how do they maybe adjust on the fly here in this non-conference?
Yeah, I think one thing that Buzz is really good at is I think he gets his teams to focus, like especially in moments where their back is against the wall. And so I think we've seen that a lot when they have been kind of up against, backs against the wall. I think that they have kind of turned corners, right? And so we saw that last year, and I think that was a big contributing factor.
I thought there was a stretch of the game where he was really good. We focused on the end of it because turnovers. They didn't lose because of those turnovers, but those turnovers ended it. But I thought in a game where you lose your top running back, right, and they did such a good job at stopping the run, he was able to complete a lot of passes down the field. And that's the part that I'm like, all right, he may have missed some throws, but he also got the chains moving.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, number one, to start out the way that game started, like I said, I played in a game against K-State in my day where everything that could have went wrong. And for him to fight back and get us a lead, which should have been 23-17 after that strip sack that they screwed us on, for him to fight back and get us in that game, kudos to him. Like you said, he didn't do anything to lose us that game. You hate to have the interception, but I agree. I think he played well. I think there were times where their defensive line got to us, and he was able to extend the play. Jabri made some amazing catches. There were situations where not to down Connor or anything, but I think that we would have gotten sacked in a lot of those scenarios, maybe 2 or 3 of those where Marcel was able to extend the play, and that's always a great thing. We just didn't execute. And listening to Elko in his press conference, it sounds like a few of the receivers weren't in the right spot, maybe weren't getting off the way that they were supposed to, which, again, that's a learning moment. You can go back and teach that on tape and say, hey, this is the play. This is where you were supposed to be. What happened here? Like, this guy's expecting you to be here. But, again, with Marcel, this was my thing about allowing him to be the starter is you've got to take those lumps. Granted, you don't want to do it in a losing fashion, but you can't become an experienced quarterback without the experience. And I think that with this game, you take those learning curves and you add it to your game. You put it in your database, and you know certain things not to do, and you know when you need to call on certain things. So
it's a hard game, and I'm not guaranteeing that there's a win, right? But I feel like that's a game they should win. But the Texas game, I've been saying, I don't know if it's a game they should win. It's a game that they can win. And here's my why. Okay. That the defensive front, for the most part, has caused issues to every quarterback they have faced. For the most part. All right. And I just don't think Quinn Ewers and that offensive line can withstand the amount of blitzes that Elko's going to dial up, the amount of pressure that defensive line. He's not Lenore Sellers. So I guess what I'm saying is, we keep talking about they've got to win out to have a chance to be in the playoffs, and then they got to win again in the SEC championship game. It's not a ridiculous thought, right? These are all possible because of matchups, right, Jordan?
Yes. Look, yes, we can win every game. We can win every game that we played since the beginning of the season all the way up to this point. We're supposed to. Here's the deal. New Mexico, that's a win. Auburn should be a win. Auburn has the talent. Auburn they've been getting in their own way all year long. So those are the games that scare you because you don't know which Auburn is going to show up. Is it going to be the world beater Auburn? Is it going to be the Auburn that beats itself? Texas, I think from a matchup standpoint, to your point, that we match up extremely well with them. I think that we're dominant on both fronts of the line when it comes to Texas. But the number one thing is they have a pocket quarterback who is not able to be elusive. And with our D line, man, that can cause terror, that can cause havoc. Georgia gave the blueprint on that. Right. And we can match what Georgia did against Texas with our defensive front. Right. So, look, there's nothing wrong with the expectation. I'm going to say this again. I expect for us to finish strong. I expect for us to finish 3-0. I expect us to be in Atlanta for the SEC championship because we have everything that we need. We have all the resources. We have the player talent. We have the right head coach in place. It's time for the players to take ownership. If we want to get over the top, if we want to break through, and if we want to be the team that we know that we are, the players have to take responsibility at this point. People have got to understand that this thing is driven by the players. And once that belief and once that standard is set, and once they know how to finish and break through, everything that we want to accomplish is on the other side.
All right, Cooper, tell the people what to do.
Well, it's simple. You got to like, you got to comment, you got to subscribe. You got to tell your friends about how much fun you had watching the rewind and how much fun you love and watch TexAgs live.
I think you started off great there. Started off great, but a little crash and burn there. You didn't know where to go. You were kind of caught in the middle.
I lost it.
You lost it. So do I. I lose it every show. It's every segment, actually. We'll see you next time.